You are invited to the screening of Wrestling Then and Now, and to help me bring superheroes to Las Vegas. Hi, my name is Dwayne Walker, and I'm the director of Wrestling Then and Now, the motion picture that was produced by Evan Ginzburg, the associate producer of Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler. And I am pleased to announce that on November the 12th in Las Vegas, Nevada, on Tuesday at the Millennium Fandom, which is located not that far from Fremont Street, we will be having the first national screening of Wrestling Then and Now. And it's not going to be just a normal screening. You are encouraged to dress as your favorite wrestler. And it is free to the public. However, as many people, producers, directors, and event planners are fond of saying, whatever your budget is, double it. And even though this is free to the public, there have been some unexpected expenses that have come up, and I think it's worthy of appearing here on Indiegogo and just asking for some donations. I'm not asking for much, just $1,000, probably a little bit more, and the main reason for that is I want to invite some of the wrestlers who are in this movie, as well as other wrestlers and other people, to come to this premiere because they've never really seen it on the big screen before. And you have to think that with all these wrestlers and everybody there in costumes, naturally, I would want to have it videotaped. However, while I've always been kind of a one-man band, where, you know, I would edit, produce, direct, and do everything all by myself, even into now appearing before the camera, the fact is that after the movie, there's going to be a question and answer with the director, and I can't be everywhere at once. So I need to have somebody behind the camera to videotape me. And this movie is not just about wrestling per se. This movie was shot like about a year after 9/11 happened. And when I went there, I found that not only was everyone very friendly, but I also noticed that among those who were the wrestlers, they didn't mind necessarily going out in public and wearing their masks, and they would have a cause. One of them, the great Mambo King, wanted to just take kids off the street and tell them to not do drugs and to stay in school. And Evan Ginzburg, like I said, the associate producer of The Wrestler, well, this movie was made quite a few years before The Wrestler, and at the time he was teaching in school over in Brooklyn, and he would invite wrestlers to come into his classroom and talk to the kids and also encourage them to stay in school. And when I was talking to these people, and even now thinking about it all these years later, you know, I'm reminded of something that we see, a statement that we see a lot of times on Facebook that says, where are the billionaires who have decided to become Batman? And the fact is, the billionaires have not decided to become Batman. Every now and then they'll be very nice, oh, we're going to clean up your water, here, have some money. And, you know, that's about it. And that's what I think of when I think of some of these wrestlers. These are not rich people, and yet there they are, not just putting their bodies out, you know, basically as a sacrifice to their art, and some of them don't have insurance and they're out there getting busted and beaten up and all, but also because there's more to it than that. They are not only just trying to be real-life superheroes, they are real-life superheroes. I mean, just listen to a few of the comments from this movie.
In my school, I bring wrestlers into the school to meet the kids. It's the only program of its kind in the country.
I escaped from communist country, and when I come to this country, I really didn't want to play, you know, bad guy communist, you know, that because if you're a bad guy, you come from communist country, Russia, especially Russia, the people think you are communist, and I didn't want to do that. But then I met the gentleman named Fred Blassie, who was my manager, and he told me, Mr. Nikolai, if you hate so much communism, why you don't help those people that live there? Show the rest of the world what it means to be communist. Just act like you are one. You know what they did to you, what they did to your family. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. It worked double deal, so I did it.
I saw a bunch of kids basically being hoodlums, doing bad things in the streets. So I decided, hey, you know, what should I do? Basically took kids off the streets, you know, because I don't want them to use drugs and drink and do what they got to do. Hey, unfortunately, I could take my mask off. They can't.
The Mambo King literally took a mask off his face handed it to a kid in a wheelchair. This kid has spinal bifida. He's not going to live past 30. Handed the kid a $250 handmade Mexican mask and said, "This is for you." And the Mambo King is not a rich guy. And his wife sat there crying. I mean, you know, it was just a beautiful moment. There's a lot of criticism of wrestling, sexist, racist, homophobic, etc. But Mambo does a lot of work with the kids in the community.
I love that. I think that's beautiful because when I was younger, I studied to teach, and then we had our babies. But other than that, I think that's wonderful that he involves the kids, gets them off the street, does a lot for charities. That's part of what made me fall in love with him when he was telling me all this.
And so I think that if you can look beyond the sport of wrestling to the individuals that are portrayed on this, you're going to find some real-life superheroes and people whom maybe movies should be built around, like Darren Aronofsky did with The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. In fact, the great Mambo King, for one, I did see him in the background of The Wrestler. And it has been said that my movie, Wrestling Then and Now, is like the real life story of The Wrestler, whereas The Wrestler was a dramatic film and then mine's the documentary. Obviously that's not the case because my movie was made a few years before The Wrestler came out. But I think you'll be surprised to see the similarities in Wrestling Then and Now. But I want this to be more than just we're going to screen a movie at a bar. I want this to be a night that's going to be remembered. And that's why I'm here on Indiegogo asking for just a little bit. I'm not trying to get millions of dollars or even $50,000 or whatever. Just a simple $1,000, enough to buy some plane tickets for some people, put them up in a nice hotel here in Vegas for about 2 or 3 days so they can enjoy their moments. I mean, there are a few wrestling events here that happen where wrestlers are praised, but there's usually a hefty fee involved. The only fee here, just get yourself to Vegas however you can, and maybe buy some drinks at the bar. This could be a very amazing night in the lives of a number of people who've sacrificed themselves and have gotten very little in return. And so tonight, on November the 12th, at Millennium Fandom on Tuesday, it's time to give them their due. They are true artists. Thank you for watching.